Uf. La profundidad del sector prohibido. Madre mía. Se viene el jefe. Hay mazmorra final. Que no sé cuál será. Pero bueno, vamos a ver.
That's quite some door, all right. This might finally be it. The heart of the beast.
We'll find the Renis Alma and the Red Woman inside, right?
After everything we've been through to get here, they damn well better be.
We'll probably be needing you to open this one for us, Sovereign.
El rey, chaval.
Go for it, Alphen.
Qué guapo el traje de Alphen y de Sion. Y de los demás también, pero madre mía. Luce guapo, que es espectacular. Este diseño del personaje sí que mola, tío. Que me quejaba al principio de que no me molaba el diseño de Alphen. Ahora sí que mola, que flipas, bro.
This is it, guys.
El gran rey.
Time to see what secrets are in store.
El gran rey, chaval. Lo más profundo del sector prohibido. Ojo, que se viene jefe.
We're a long way from the residential quarter.
Yeah, you're right.
Except the Dan and Astro...
In a portion of the city reserved purely...
Maybe he just has strange taste.
This place looks like it has been here for quite some time now. If its design were... Still, this isn't the sort of decadence of...
Hold up, decadence? Artistic circles?
When a preference is indulged to its extreme, it descends into kitsch.
That depends. Does it involve you buying me lunch?
The void that art fills isn't the stomach.
In that
Increíble.
case, I'll let you know the next time my
No lo
soul
físico,
starts to
sino lo
rumble.
mental.
Now all we need is something to fill up the void.
Shut up!
¿Cómo se viene? ¿Cómo se viene, bro? Es que va a estar al puto nivel 50 el jefe final, tío. Yo estoy al puto 43, tristísimo. Me va a reventar.
Bullrun!
Lo sabía.
He really was still alive.
Lo puto sabía.
And there's the Renis Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Con la mujer de rojo.
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Pero no puede ser porque los dos son renanos, ¿no?
Powers must be united. One from the fires of chaos, the world does seek its rightful state. All must be sacrificed in the heart of Rena, at the shrine of the true sovereign.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself, reduced to a mere cog in the machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
Isn't that the Maiden's crest?
Can it be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the Maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but... Are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
If that's what caused Lenegis' transformation, then the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dana.
But for what purpose? What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless, we cannot stand by and let them steal
¿Ves?
Dana's
Todavía hay
energy.
preguntas sin respuesta.
That said, we should retrieve the Renis Alma. Because right now, we need that most of all.
He's not gonna lunge at us out of nowhere.
Me parece que sí.
The Time Law.
Alphen, look!
The Red Woman!
La loca.
So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
Wait!
What?
They all have the same face? How is that even possible?
Buah, qué puto cague, bro.
What is this?
Eso me pregunto yo.
Who the hell are they?
It can't be. Are they even people?
It's hard to know for sure, but I think they're the true rulers of Rena.
Buah. Brutal. Mujer de rojo nivel 48. Muchísimo nivel,
They're not feeling particularly talkative.
It's no use, Elfin. If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting ducks here.
Good point. Let's stop that before this gets out of hand. Take this! Eternal devastation!
Hacking no castres. Parecen putos aliens.
Eternal devastation!
If you're off, take this.
Here, let me help.
Double demon fang!
Water, hear my call.
Double demon fang! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Ignite!
Uf, estoy a punto de pelar. Joder. No quiero pelar, bro. El nivel. Si pelo, supongo que bajar el nivel de dificultad y a tomar por culo. Solamente por el tema del nivel, porque necesito en plan subir más de nivel. Pero quiero terminar lo antes posible y ya hacer la secundaria más tarde.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'm going to use all the power of my healing arts to accomplish this.
Try harder! No, you can't! Eternal devastation! No escape! Eternal Pistol! You picked the wrong fight!
Buah, ¿cómo vas a pelar, bro? ¿Cómo vas a pelar? Está fallando mucho el Devastación Eterna, así que voy a hacer el Double Demon Fang.
Armor won't save you.
Double demon fang! Double demon fang!
Denied.
We've now hear it.
Nearly done for. This should do it! You're mine!
In a bind.
¡Ay, no seas cagón!
Eat dirt! No escape!
Where are you going?
Todavía hay preguntas sin responder, Gerbo. Todavía hay cosas de la historia de este juego que no se saben. Como quiénes son estos. Y si Rena también está vivo ahí como Dana, que tiene su propia voz, que seguramente sí. ¿Y cuál es el objetivo de Rena? Sí, sí que puedo, Sí que puedo con estos putos.
Ignite! You're mine! Double demon fang!
In a bind.
Venga, vamos.
Double demon fang!
Mitad de la vida. Espérate. Un cura, va. ¡El cura del pueblo!
This should do it! Double demon fang!
Vale, dale, cagón, dale. Qué pedazo de Tales of es este, tío. Es un Tales of muy bueno este. La historia es muy buena.
Double demon fang!
Annihilation! Lightning orb! Reload!
Shield and free.
Tiene sus fallos, pero tremendo juegazo este juego, tío. Tremendo puto juegazo. Buah, cagué. Uf, su putísima madre. ¡Alejaos de mis amigos! Vale. A ver, cura intensa, cura normal. Voy con una cura intensa, a ver qué tal. Es un objeto buenísimo, pero lo necesito ahora. Venga, ya falta poco. Estamos a punto, ¿eh? ¡A punto de pegar! ¿Será esta la batalla final o todavía quedan cosas? Yo creo que aún quedan cosas, ¿eh? Y esta no es la batalla final. Buah, Kisara. No peles. ¡Ay, tío! Me están tocando la poronga ya, ¿eh? Buah, Ringwell. No cagues, Ringwell. Sí. Uf. Tengo que utilizar esto. ¡No! Buah, qué cagada, bro. Solamente ha aguantado Sion. Flipante. Vale. Yo no sé qué hace Sion, que está aguantándoselo todo. Esto es brutal. Las pelotas, pelos. Las putísimas pelotas. Espérate, que río a Ringwell, que quiero que gane experiencia. Y arreglado. Pero estaba a puntísimo de pelar. Con esos hiperrayos. A ver, dame historia.
Surrender! Fighting is useless now!
Do you think it's really over?
No habla nunca, tío.
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve.
Buah, kamikaze.
What?
It's self-destructed?
Alvin!
I'm okay. Just a little roughed up.
You had me worried there.
Who said you could touch that?
Hijo de puta.
Damn it! He's awake!
I should have thought as much.
So you know this place?
Naturally, it was built for me, after all. We'll save that for another time. More pressing is
Qué
how I'm going
pesado
to
el
tear
Sefi,
you
tío.
apart.
Even after all this time, you still insist on hating me?
You cut me down. Sovereign or not, you will pay for that.
Buah, le ofendió que le reventara.
You're obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Really, is that what you think?
Buah.
Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
Are you going to claim it's because you're a ruler? Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all
Hay
titles
alguien
given
por
by
encima de
someone
él.
else.
Plus, what kind of ruler would spend all his time chasing Alf, who happens to be another sovereign?
Idle prattle. I proved my worth and the Sovereign's powers were granted to me.
Were they really? We already know the title of sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown codename for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings. You mentioned before that you were not the only one stolen from Daeq, correct?
Yeah. There were countless. And every one of them besides me.
Entonces Bolan es de Dana. No es un renano.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Daeq. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to specifically be a Daenan. Then there were the records we found in the library, for you and Volron. They were locked 300 years apart, and yet the data they took from you was exactly the same. Which leads us to a single conclusion.
Then you mean Boran was kidnapped just like Alphen? But then he became
A slave from Daeq. Just like us. Isn't that right, Volron?
So he posed as a Renin and caused all that suffering to his own people?
How could you? If you knew the pain of being a slave, why
Qué
would
hijo
you
de
inflict
puta.
that upon others?
Puto Judas.
Renin and Daeq are meaningless distinctions. Me and everyone else. That is all that
Sagi
matters.
2.0.
I will stand above all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
Buah. Vas a pelar, le rompe la mano.
A red woman?
Another one?
Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know
Es
I'll
súper
make them
fuerte el
suffer.
Bolan, eh.
Don't do it!
Serenus Alma!
It's too late. You can't stay here.
We need to go. Alphen!
Buah, se van a repetir los sucesos. La historia es brutal, eh. Buah. Cagaste. No debiste haber hecho eso. Ven aquí. Sí, ven aquí. Le pesan las tetas, no va a poder. Dale, no seas marico.
Go. But know I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
Qué pesado.
Let's go.
Ahí te quedas, un normal.
Never forget, I am the one who devours everything. Who answers to neither spirit nor man. My word is law. I am.
Puto Volran, tío. Qué loco que está.
Are you two okay?
Yeah. We'll be fine.
Is Volran... Have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
Those red women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the ones behind all this? The same ones who put those soldiers in Faria in a trance?
What? Those brainless things? Either way, they've done a runner with the Renaissance. Damn it, that's the second time now!
Whatever's stolen from us, we'll steal it back. The future's ours to protect. And right now, those things are what's standing in our way. We can head them off at Rena.
Did you say Rena?
Volran mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the motherland somewhere.
If that monstrous form's their true identity, I shudder to think who they take orders from.
Yeah. There's a good chance it's not human. That's for sure.
So this thing over on Rena, that's what's really behind all this, huh?
Se viene a mazmorra final y todo, eh.
Grasp already, so it's unlikely they'll have cause to return to Dana. I agree that Rena's our best shot.
Hacia Rena.
We're agreed. Let's head back to
Pues
the
al final
station.
sí que vamos a Rena.
But seriously, I was not expecting Volran to actually be here.
He seemed to care not one whit about Renans or Danans.
Yeah, not in a good way like with us.
En el mal sentido, el hijo de puta. Brutalísimo, ¿eh? Cómo se está poniendo de putito el juego. Aún falta la mazmorra final. Me gustaría, a menos esta noche, llegar hasta la mazmorra final y dejarlo por allá. Vamos a ver si es posible o no.
I didn't see that coming about Volran.
Tell me about it. One minute they look perfect.
They definitely weren't Renan or Danan.
So what were they then? Human Zoogle hybrids?
Is the most
Buah,
terrifying thing
increíble.
anyone said all day?
How about you, Shion? Doherty? You ever seen anything like that before?
No, never. However, if they're the same as the Red Woman we've seen with Volran, I think it's safe for us to assume they understand our language at the very least.
I had just so much I wanted to ask them. About Rena.
A lo mejor las dos cosas, Gerbo.
Shion's stories.
Unfortunately, they blew themselves up before we got the chance. Why would they do such a...
Both sound plausible to my ears. They took off with the Renaissance too, remember?
Yeah, they did. And the next time we meet...
Si saben nuestro idioma, claro. O si no, nos quedamos ahí con las ganas. No puedo hacer viaje rápido. ¿Qué mierda es esta, bro? Tengo que ir a pata. Buah, espérate un momento. Espérate un momento, espérate un momento. Porque está yendo de las manos una cosa. Ya está. Podemos seguir. Vamos a llegar hasta Rena y a lo mejor Rena es directamente la mazmorra final. No lo sé. Pero al menos quiero verlo. Hay muchas secundarias que podría hacer y que de hecho debería hacer antes del jefe final, porque el jefe final seguramente va a ser un hijo de puta que me puede costar bastante. Aunque bueno, en la mazmorra final puedo subir mucho de nivel. Nada, me dejaré las secundarias para cuando termine todo. Ahora que lo pienso, puedo dejármelo, la verdad. Vamos a tope a terminar con esto. Vale. A lo mejor hay otro jefe ahora. Buah, voy a pasar de ellos, Voy a pasar de estos, pero muchísimo. Además, ahora están al mismo nivel que yo. Putos mierdas que son. Está increíble la historia de este juego, Al final se ha puesto súper interesante. Al principio era un poco coñazo, pero después, desde que se puso interesante al final del segundo reino, hasta ahora brutal. Y ahora al final se está poniendo que flipas de interesante. Y es un poco difícil de entender, le pasa como a Cestiria y a Berseria. Sobre todo Berseria, hay muchas cosas que son difíciles de comprender.
What the? When did it get pitch dark all of a sudden?
The lights are all out. Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone? Doe?
You two.
Faria, Avakir. Thank goodness you're safe.
Avakir filled me in about everything. About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember a thing. So she really was being controlled.
He told me about Tarnigan, too. Is it true?
What difference does it make? What's done is done.
Stop casting me off, just for once.
Faria, not now.
Joder, haga lo que haga, es culpable de todo el Doharim. Siempre es el malo, no puede ser eso. Me cago en la puta.
It's the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration's still a way off.
You're an elite technician, though. You can fix it, right?
No me jodas que tengo que hacerlo todo yo.
Then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the sovereign
Un real
issued a
decreto y
decree.
arreglado.
But this time, not so much as a peep. Any longer, and we run the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Se ponen nerviositos.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be hearing from him anytime soon.
What's that supposed to mean? Do you know something I don't?
Suffice it to say, the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought he was. That is, if he ever even existed, which is looking doubtful at this stage.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was whispering such blasphemy...
Joder, tremenda
There's no
gilipollas la
time to
Faria.
explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegis from spiraling out of control.
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace, we just need to put people's minds at ease.
At ease? Like by letting them hear directly from someone they
El
trust.
cagas. El más alto de todos.
That's it. Who's the highest ranking person in Lenegis right now?
Yo.
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line. After all, you said the Sovereign rules over everyone directly, right?
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. And the only one
El
left
señor de Lenegis. El
Ah.
putísimo amo.
Very well then. Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Heed me now, fellow Renans of Lenegis.
Ahí viene a calmar a todo el mundo.
It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Eldamenes.
El cagas. Calmad quien sea.
There, it's Lord Dohalim.
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
Medidas
The
provisionales.
Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid, as people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your...
Es el mejor, tío. El que debería ser el rey del mundo.
The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have our top engineers attending to the matter.
Así calmo yo a cualquiera, vamos. Es increíble.
Feel abandoned, perhaps more scared and alone than ever before.
Es como Pedro Sánchez. Puede estar ardiendo el mundo. Ser el puto infierno.
Not the lords and sovereign. The solitary
Pero el tío habla con una tranquilidad y te dice: va todo bien, no os preocupéis, españoles, vamos a arreglar todo.
allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences.
El puto amo.
Put our hearts and minds together and stand as one. I am confident we will find a new hope. I would be honored to stand with you. Not
El
as
mejor
a
líder de
officer
todos.
rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength. For if we can persevere as one, I know a bright tomorrow awaits.
Your speech seems to have done the trick. Looks like the city won't be descending into chaos after
Buah,
all.
qué putísimo amo que es.
I only pray the relief
Se me ha
will tide
puesto
the
bien
city
dura
over for the time
con su
being.
discurso.
What you said earlier about the Sovereign possibly not even existing. Was it true?
It's still too premature to say with any certainty. But I
Sí,
believe so.
en el mundo real también.
This whole time, this world we've been fed was a lie. Built on nothing but falsehoods.
But it can't all have been...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes sense.
But what about hierarchy, Avakir? Authority? The very foundations of Renan society?
Colaborando entre todos.
How can we live
Retrasada
without someone
mental.
to guide us?
I'd say we found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
You? You can't be serious.
Soy el rey del mundo.
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall return. But not as your sovereign, nor as a leader, the likes of which the people
Como
here
un
are
amigo.
used to, I think.
Al que es poder escuchar
But how else do
y
you
poder
propose to
hablar
rule?
y que te escuche él.
I'm not sure yet. All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking.
Este presidente sí que me
One in
representa.
which people won't be judged by birthright or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like, oh, I don't know, musical talent, for example.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I said you were no different. But I was wrong. Truth is, you were always different. I feel like maybe now I can finally begin to accept Turnigan's death. To see a future.
You go finish whatever it is you've got to do. I'll hold down the fort here in Lenegus till you get back.
Thank you.
I guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Indeed. Forgive me.
Aquí están las waifus.
The people of Elda Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegus who
Ahora
need
tiene que
someone to
transmitir
guide
lo que ha
them.
aprendido aquí.
Besides, with you leading the people here, it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be, after the second chance that I've been granted? From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this
Sí,
world.
tengo un grupo de Discord.
Though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough. Whatever would I do without you, Kisara?
La mejor asistente de todas.
With or without her, I suspect you're gonna have your hands full when the time comes. We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Rena awaits.
Sabes cómo unirte, ¿no? Al grupo de Discord. Hecatombe. Mejora las artes curativas. Hostia, cómo me mola eso. Sí, voy a por eso.
Looks like the people of Lenegus can rest easy.
I couldn't have done it without your words of encouragement, Law.
Hey, you're the one who made the speech.
I think everybody can share the credit here.
In one sense, when all is said and...
You, a Renan lord.
I was complicit in the Renan system, bound by its values. Resigned
Todo el
to being
mundo en mayor o
swept along,
menor medida.
without the resolve to take a stand. And when I realized the severity of my mistake, a lord. And yet my first instinct was...
I think I can relate. I couldn't stand watching my people bow, and the ability to think for yourself and be your own master. That's what separates a slave from a free person. At least, that's what Law's dad Zephyr used to say. Zephyr taught me how to fight.
Even if it means stumbling...
El Zephyr me la
along the way,
chupa.
if it's on a road of our own choosing, free of regret.
Era un tío aburrido.
That's the road of freedom. Or, to put it another way, so long as his heart is compromised. This Zephyr character sounds like he was a wise man indeed.
Era
There's
putísimo,
just
amo.
so much I wish I could ask him, especially now.
Pobrecillo.
How long have you known
Known what?
about the darkness I carry inside me?
Why ask me now? But, yes, I have.
So basically since the very start of our journey then.
Leave the past where it belongs. We have
Me
no
encanta
need
este
for it now.
mensaje que transmite el
You're
juego.
forging ahead. That's what matters. If my brother could see you, he'd be proud.
Not as proud as he would be of his sister, I'm sure.
Well then, just as well it's not a competition, huh?
El Murillo. Qué bien que ahora está funcionando bien todo, tío. Qué bien.
Kisara?
Sorry. Did I look distracted?
Among other things. To be entirely honest, I could...
You were thinking about Dohalim.
That obvious, huh? I was just thinking how good it is to see him moving forward. It was always so infuriating, knowing how capable he could be. But now, he's fine.
So, then why do you look so sad?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say sad. There's a bittersweetness to it, I guess. It probably sounds weird, doesn't it? I have this massive work.
Must be that maternal instinct of yours at work.
Increíble. Una escudera con
Renna's
instinto
right.
maternal. Es que
You're
es
like
la
a
mejor
mother
escudera del
bird,
mundo.
finally letting go as her child takes his
A pretty big child.
Bastante alto, mide 3
That's
putos
one way to
metros.
look at it. I wouldn't like to see Dohalim's face if he heard you say that. All this has made me realize, if Dohalim can forge his own path ahead, then I can too.
Un coloso. Zona de despegue. Qué bien, tío. Mira que lo comenté hace tiempo. Ojalá un Tales of que no sea medieval. Que a ver, que la saga Tales of ya ha tenido varios tintes no medievales. Este es una mezcla. Tiene partes así medieval y tiene partes futuristas como esta. Y eso me mola. Me mola muchísimo. Está dando pie a la saga a que en el futuro abandone la estética medieval y utilice otras estéticas. Que está ya muy gastada esa ambientación, ¿sabes? Que dejen la ambientación medieval para Dragon Quest. Oh, sí, como me mola, bro. Aquí seguramente... Ah, no. Brutal la historia, ¿eh? Una putísima pasada. Mira, qué guapo, tío, el espacio, el planeta. Qué maldita pasada. Ve a Rena. Y no sé, pero yo creo que Rena será la mazmorra final. Ya directamente. Aunque aún quedan preguntas sin responder, pero a lo mejor no las responden antes del combate final. Los putos héroes.
I thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding more questions.
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix too. Like figuring out how to reform Lenegis.
Era súper listo Bolgan, ¿eh? Un daniano intentando aprovecharse de su situación.
Like figuring out who's really running the show on Rena.
Yeah. Which is why we're going to the Renan homeworld.
All the answers we've been looking for are on that planet. The person responsible for all this. The Red Woman and the Renasalma. The answers have to be there. Are we prepared to finally find them?
Siempre estaba en plan, buah, ahora es el final del juego y nunca llega al final del juego.
So, what do we do first when we get there?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld or what we might face once we arrive. We should get a feel for how things are on the ground before we take any serious steps.
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face is an attack.
If we come across a capital, we should...
Hostia puta, qué puto susto me ha dado con el grito ese. ¿Ves? Tanto hablar, las chapas que pegáis tenéis que haber salido, tío. Ahora nos van a parar y nos van a joder y fin del juego, hemos perdido. Eso pasa por hablar tanto. Un agujero negro. Madre mía, hemos muerto. Fin del juego. Ya nunca sabremos la verdad. Un puto agujero negro, tío. Vaya puto susto, tío. El grito que ha pegado Ringwell.
Damn! The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
The ship's controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut down.
That's bad, right?
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Buah, vamos a pelar.
Is all of this the Red Women's doing?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
Everyone,
Completamente.
look there.
Eso es Rena. Sí, quiero ser famoso. A ver, por gilipollas. Está reventadísimo, bro. Un planeta partido por la mitad. Querrá recomponer el planeta. Y por eso está utilizando a Dana y su energía astral. Ahí está. Uno ordena al otro. Y otro se transfiere al otro. Es lo que había dicho yo, era lo más lógico. Eso es, dilo por subnormal, dilo bien. Y ahora se lo devuelve. Y con eso intentarán recomponer el planeta. ¿Qué es esa mierda? Una flor de chota. Brutal, ¿eh? Obviamente brutal. Muy Sinfonia. El árbol Yggdrasil, la gran semilla de Karlan. El Giant Karlan Tree.
Flower blooming out of Rena?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears Lenegis is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here.
Obviamente.
Could that have been its true purpose
Si es
all
que
along?
ya lo sabía yo.
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lenegis are all right?
We can only pray that they are.
Damn it! Haven't they taken enough already? When is this going to end?
The Flower of Oblivion.
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lenegis. Is the ship still offline?
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines. One
Buah.
wrong move while we're out here in space
Dale, cagas.
could very well cost us our lives.
Toda la vida en mano de
So
cagas.
We're just stuck inside here, floating around? For how long?
I don't believe this. We've made it all this way, and now we're stuck here?
Venga, esto es
We're
Matrix.
watching Dana die before our eyes, and we have no choice but to sit here and starve to death?
Law, calm down! You're not the only one who's worried here.
Right. Sorry.
It's still too early to give up. There has to be a way to get out of this.
Alphen.
Now what?
The starship, it's back online?
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
Qué locura. Otra vez al Enegis.
We managed to get moving, but where are we?
It looks like Lenegis in here.
Do you think we might run into more Renans here? Or those red women?
Perhaps. Someone brought us here. The question is, who?
We haven't been ambushed, so that probably means they aren't hostile. Still, why would anyone want to bring us here?
Hey, Shion!
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back on the starship.
Dale. Parad de pensároslo y adelante, joder. Siempre tiene el mismo problema en este juego. Todo el rato pensándose a ver qué hacer. Actuad. ¿Qué podrá ser? Pues venga, hagámoslo y ahorraríais un montón de tiempo.
Ah, Shion, just in the nick of time. Here, lend me a hand while I...
No!
What the... Oh,
¡Qué
right.
gilipollas!
The thorns.
¡Qué gilipollas que
My
es!
bad.
No, I'm the one who should apologize. I overreacted.
Again, Law? Can't you even go a minute
Me
without
encanta.
putting your foot in your mouth?
Seriously, it's fine. I'd rather that than people feeling like they're walking on eggshells around me. Besides, I'm the one who should be vigilant about not touching you guys, not the other way around.
¡Qué grande el lo!
Actually, I've been meaning to ask. Not being able to...
I guess I never really thought about it in those terms. It was either accept it for what it was, or come undone. Before long, it was just part of my everyday reality. Which isn't to say I didn't feel alone.
So numb to your reality, you couldn't even recognize it as lonely?
It's fine. I know I'm not alone
El
anymore.
juego debe terminar
But
con un abrazo
I can't
colectivo.
even touch you. No way of lending you a shoulder when you're down? Even Alphen.
I appreciate the concern. Until I get rid of these thorns, I guess I'll have to put up with it just a little longer. Maybe it'll be soon, maybe it won't be. But either...
Yeah, just hang in there. One day.
Antes de los créditos se tienen que dar un abrazo colectivo. Free COVID, bro. ¿En serio tendrían que poner aquí escenas, tío? Con la que está cayendo y pone estas escenas.
This isn't the time for games, Rinwell.
Oh, come on. How am I supposed to resist with you looking all
Qué hija de
jittery
puta,
like
eh.
that?
It's called experiencing feelings appropriate to the situation. You ought to try it sometime.
Yeah, but
No pasa nada.
seeing you act all nervous, you're making me start to feel nervous too.
Oh, sorry.
Staying alert is important, but too much caution can cloud your judgment. Try to strike a balance.
Esa canción tan misteriosa, bro. Disfruta de la novia, tú que puedes. Otros no podemos disfrutar de esas cosas.
I still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Yeah, our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dana, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours.
Cualquiera lo habría pensado.
Still though, I never would have imagined Rena actually looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Rena and Dana. We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst
Pero uno
the
está
stars in
hueco,
the heavens.
vacío.
But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the Crown contest, but also the form of our own planet.
Dohalim.
Okay, who's the wise guy that summoned us here?
Someone formidable enough to bring our starship along with us.
They must be here somewhere. Let's find them.
Los aliens muertos.
That beam of light joining Dana and Rena. It was the Renan side that it first came from, right?
That's what it looked like. And then the Danon side responded.
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan homeworld? To reawaken the Wedge and Lenegis?
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Rena after all.
Try to stay calm. With so many factors we don't
Demasiado
understand,
complejo.
dwelling on it won't
Debería
get
de
us
haber
anywhere.
dejado morir el planeta e irse a otro planeta y
What
decir,
is it?
vengo del espacio
No, it's
exterior, seamos amigos.
Zephyr once told me the same thing. So much for me making progress, huh?
You made it this far, didn't you?
En vez de resucitar un
Something,
planeta
you change
muerto.
it. That's all anyone can do. But you can't stand still in the meantime.
Y crear un sistema súper complejo y crear un montón de mentiras alrededor de ello para revivir el planeta. Había que crear 1.000.000 de mentiras alrededor de todo eso. Nivel inferior. Nivel central. Está aquí. El amigo está aquí. Sale ahí el Zephyr y dice, ¿qué tal, chicos? ¿Os lo habéis pasado bien sin mí? En plan, ¡hola, Peter! A lo Octopus y Spider-Man.
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that?
¿Quién coño es ese?
It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
It doesn't look like it can move.
Ayúdenme, me voy a morir.
Tell me, are you the one who
Ojalá
brought us
estuviera
here?
conectado este juego con Sinfonia, tío.
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Una IA.
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that. Just what exactly are you?
Es una puta
Are
IA,
you
no me digas
somehow
más.
associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a
El
threat
Gran
most
Espíritu.
grave.
What do you mean, serve? Are you saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any
Está
way.
rica, nena.
Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Oh, goody. More riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
Vaya historiaca que se han marcado con este Tales of, tío. Qué pasada de historia.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil. The red women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ.
Yo creo que son
from time to
alienígenas.
time, but not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Daeq Faezol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's great spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena and Dana from this position.
A question. What is this great spirit of which you speak? Is it something that
Ahora os
rules over
leeré,
your
vale.
kind?
Estoy atento a la historia.
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
A voice? Just like Dana.
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it without
Vamos, que son
question
esclavos de él.
throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this great spirit be the true sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus. If Dana has a will of its own, I don't see why Rena wouldn't.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dana has a will like Rena, then that would mean that we've been controlled
Es
by
un
the voice
planeta
of
contra
Dana this
otro.
whole time, just like these things.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but
Let's assume that what Hevrek 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Rena's great spirit. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dana's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Parasitándolo.
Why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest.
Ellos son los enemigos.
Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
Casi la cagan, chaval.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegus was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renasalma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Renis Alma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest.
Lo llevo
Efficient
diciendo del
means to
inicio del
harvest the
juego, bro.
necessary energy from Dana.
This is all happening because of me.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevrek 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
A request? But what could someone like you want us to...
Es un puto alien, no jodas.
I wish for you all to slay the
Sí,
Great Spirit.
era nuestro plan.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
La liberamos.
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
What makes you say that?
Lenegus has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize.
Son muy raros los aliens.
As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our
Ah,
species is on the brink
no
of
le he devuelto el
extinction.
favor.
You mean you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Others? Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Daeq Faezol.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us. Let's take a look around.